Welcome to Oregon! Hi everyone, it's Shipra.
And it's Shivam, and we're back.
And this time, we're in Oregon for Shivam's surprise birthday trip.
I literally did not even know any of the plans until literally landing.
Shivam thought we were going to Portland.
Yeah, we got to the terminal in Oakland, and I was like, okay, we're going to Portland. And then the plane is boarding while Shipra's in the bathroom, and I'm getting stressed out. And we are actually here in Eugene, of all places. It was actually quite the picturesque landing, and it doesn't seem like there's anything here because it was literally 1 minute from the gate down to our rental car.
Yeah, I'm really liking it already so far. It kind of got small town feel, which I like a lot. And I'm looking forward to a lot of nature-filled days this weekend.
So it's going to be an exciting one. Shipra told me the plan. It seems like we're going to be starting here in Eugene and working our way up the coast. We're going to be going on several hikes, seeing several waterfalls, potentially even seeing some whales, and then we will wrap it up in Portland area and then head back to the Bay Area after this weekend. Starting off this trip full of surprises with yet another surprise. So behind me we have the rental car we have this time around. Avis did not ask us anything. We have somehow gotten a Bolt EUV, even though we looked for a Camry or equivalent. I think this one's going to be a little bit of a mixed bag. I have not had any experience using the CCS network anywhere in the United States, so I am unsure as to whether it will be good or not. We have officially made our first stop on the trip.
It was not a planned stop, but I was craving ice cream, as I always do, and I figured we should try a local place, so we came to what appears to be the highest rated place here called Prince Puckler's Ice Cream.
And I think it was highest rated because of the portion sizes. I don't think there was too much going for it other than the fact that 1 scoop equals probably 3 scoops equivalent at any other ice cream place.
Yeah, they had some local flavors though, like we got the Oregon Bing cherry flavor, which was pretty good.
Good morning, everyone. It is our first actual full day here in Oregon. We are heading to several hikes along the Pacific coast. We are actually starting off today checking out the sea lion caves. Right now is actually not the season to actually go into the caves themselves, but we're going to try and see them from the road. After this, we're going to head up the coast and we're going to try and go on one of our first hikes, which is going to be the Hobbit Trail. So that's supposedly supposed to look like Lord of the Rings set from the movies, although that was shot in New Zealand, but people think that that beach and that trail down to the beach inspires them.
Yeah, people say it's like a very magical feeling forest, so we'll see if it lives up to the hype.
All right, let's get the day going. It's really beautiful panoramic views all around here. You can see the dunes out in the distance running all along the coastline. So, unlike the Google reviews, it seems like there's actually not that many sea lions out here today. If we look down to the rocks, like there's really not too much out there. However, we can see this really nice view all the way out to the lighthouse over there. It seems like it also has some rocks that potentially some sea lions could be on. We're going to drive down that way and see if there's any nice things to see over there. So it turns out the area we were looking at in the distance is actually our next destination, which is here, the Hobbit Trailhead. So we're going to try and walk over down towards the beach and see what it looks like. So we just reached the end of the trail. It was very quick actually, just a quick walk down from the parking spot downhill to the beach. So this is Hobbit Beach. It is really large and there's practically no one here. And the sand is actually extremely soft. And like Shipra was just noting before, there's no seaweed here in contrast to some of the other beaches we've been to recently. What I can say though is when I think of the Hobbit, I really just think of the Shire. And the Shire is just like this very luscious green farmland rolling hills. So I don't quite see the immediate comparison, but I can see some scenes of like the Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings really being somewhat comparable to this. The big jagged cliffs in the back go to show some of that. We just finished up with the Hobbit Trail and we are now in the Perpetua area. This is actually our first stop in the Perpetua area, which is the Devil's Churn. And This is actually a chasm of volcanic rock that was formed over many years of the ocean pounding up against it. I think what was interesting in the winter when there's a high tide, this actually comes all the way up here and then sprays all the way up.
So we just finished up with Devil's Churn, and now we went back a little bit to go visit Thor's Well. So Thor's Well is actually an interesting formation in the ocean. It kind of is like a natural well that's made with rock. Depending on the tide, you see tons of water flooding into the well. Let's go see if we can go find it.
So right on the way to Thor's Well, there's this big chasm right here, and it is so windy. Shipra can barely stand. This chasm cuts right in, and it's actually kind of like what we were just seeing in Devil's Churn. It cuts all the way into the volcanic rock. We've just reached Thor's Well, and the wind just continues to pick up. But it is filling up out there. Oh wow. I think when it's high tide, it actually gets even crazier than that. The wind at Thor's Well was insane. Shipra literally couldn't even get close to that thing because it was blowing so hard. But right now, like, because it's not high tide, it wasn't quite what we'd expect it to be in terms of the water filling up. But I think I liked it a lot. I think you could definitely see it filling up kind of like a well, and there's like some splashing coming in. But I think it's all about the season, time of year, and then time of day as well to see like if you want to get the full effect of like what people show online. But with that, we're going to head to the next trail, which is just the Cape Perpetua trail. Hopefully we can get some good views and we'll get a little bit of relief from the wind, but I'm not too sure about that.
So instead of taking the really long hike up to the Cape Perpetua scenic outlook, we just decided to drive up since we're running short and we have a few other places we want to hit today. So we made it to the top, and just a little glimpse into the view. You can see about 30 miles of coastline. It's really beautiful.
So we just finished up looking here at Cape Perpetua. It was honestly one of the best coastline views I've seen.
Very comparable to Point Reyes, I would say, in California.
Although I would say Point Reyes is a lot less coastline you can see in either direction. You can see a decent amount, but here it was like...
You're supposed to be able to see up to 30 miles here, which is really pretty crazy. Yeah. But
it was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Just like Shipra.
There were a few people that walked by us that they met someone who saw a pod of 2 whales and a calf. We haven't seen any whales yet, but we're going to go on a whale watching tour tomorrow. So let's see if maybe we can catch some there.
So now let's try and go find some food as well as charge up this Bolt EUV. Hopefully CCS doesn't let us down.
Yeah, let's try it out.
So we just checked into our hotel and we headed 30 minutes up north to check out Drift Creek Falls. So this is actually a quick trail, around 3 miles total round trip, and it has a suspension bridge.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. I've never seen one, but it has a suspension bridge and then it has a large waterfall, so I'm excited to go see it.
Yeah, I think it should be really fun. And we are practically the only ones here. There's only one other car in this entire parking lot right now. It is extremely quiet.
Yeah, and lucky for us, we were really able to maximize this day because it's actually like almost 7:30 right now, but the sun doesn't set until 9, so we have about an hour and a half to see if we can hit the bridge and come back, and then we'll really have had a full fun-filled day. So the drive up here was actually very beautiful, and we were able to see a lot of these trees around that you can see around here as well. I believe these are called Sitka trees, and they're native to the Oregon area. The drive up here was also a bit stressful, mainly because we have an electric car and we did charge up to a good amount, but as we were going up, there was a pretty good elevation on the way here, and the mileage was dropping. Like if it said like 10 miles, it was dropping like 5 miles per mile that it was actually saying. So it was a little bit stressful, but then we started going on a little bit of downhill and we're able to maintain our mileage, and Shivam was using his hypermiling techniques to try to conserve energy.
This forest we're walking through right now is actually extremely dense. It feels like we're actually in a rainforest again, kind of like Puerto Rico. You can see all around me, and these trees are just immense. And if you couldn't tell by the video, it's also extremely dark in here. It's sunny. It's like 7 p.m. It's probably golden hour or so, but there's almost no light penetrating through all of these trees. We've successfully completed the hike. It was actually really quick. It was only 1.5 miles.
And very well paved. So good for if you are not big into hiking, if you have kids, it would be a really easy hike to come here.
Yeah, very little incline, decline, very quick in and out. And I think on top of that, people had overblown online in the reviews that there was a lot of downed trees and things like that, but it seems like most of it was cleaned up or like very minor.
We didn't have any issues.
But now we are on the suspension bridge. And we have the waterfall right beside us. Shipra, what are your first impressions of this bridge?
Oh my gosh, I don't like heights, so it's kind of freaking me out, but it's actually freaking awesome. Like, I love this. I've never been on a suspension bridge anymore, but if you look down, it's actually kind of scary, but it's really beautiful here.
And we came at the absolute perfect time because there is no one here.
Yeah.
Actually, the one car we saw, we assume is gone now because the one people we saw on the trail had already left on the other way out.
They passed us.
Right now, there's a little bit less water because it's the summer season. However, if you look at some of the pictures from winter and some other parts of the year, this waterfall is actually almost triple the size during that time. So there's a really large throughput of water. Nevertheless, it's actually still an amazing view up here from the suspension bridge. And I think this bridge is one of the longest suspension bridges I've actually ever been on. It's very shaky though. It's really freaking Shipra Island. We finished the hike. It was really well worth it. I'd definitely visit. I think it was a great trail to take. So now it is time for us to head back to our hotel.
Wrap up the day, have some dinner, and then go to bed.
Rest up. And tomorrow, it's time for some whale watching.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Today is our next day here in Oregon. So today we are actually coming to you from the inn at Arch Rock. So this is a hotel that we were staying at that Shipra booked, especially for me. This is one that has an amazing view of the coastline right from the property itself. Right below, we actually have a private beach that we're able to check out and use during the day. And there's several cool viewpoints around the property. The other great thing is that they have a pretty decent breakfast here, so we're going to be eating that up pretty soon. Hopefully it's a little bit better than some of the other hotels we've been to so far. The plan for today is we are actually going to be heading out very soon on a whale adventure cruise. So we're going to go out into the water and we're going to hopefully spot some whales out in the ocean. This area is known for having a lot of gray whales as well as potentially orcas during certain times of the year. So hopefully we can spot some of those today.
I think there's going to be a really good chance that we'll actually get to see some whales. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I haven't been whale watching since Hawaii, which is probably when I was 6 or 7 years old.
I haven't been whale watching since ever.
Hopefully we're not getting drenched today.
I don't know, we'll find out. We're going to be in a motorboat. We're not going to be like in an actual boat, so it's going to be a bumpy ride. I'm feeling very sick right now.
Why's that?
The bumps. It's like that one time we were on Creamery. That's exactly how I feel.
So we just wrapped up our whale watching tour here in Depoe Bay, which today we learned is Depoe and not Depoe or Depoe as we were thinking yesterday. Anyways, I think it was a really fantastic experience. Like they took us out on this small boat all the way out into the water and just kind of saw some of the whales surfacing throughout the hour or so we were out there. I liked it a lot more than Hawaii actually, because I feel like Hawaii was very commercialized. Like all the boats were really, hundreds of people going out at once and just kind of like running around the boat trying to see things. So it wasn't nearly as good as this. And like the guy was really pointing out some stuff as well as facts about the whales, like how big they are, how much they eat, how much the babies eat, that sort of thing, and their migration patterns. So it was overall a fun experience. Luckily it wasn't too cold, but it was very windy, and the bouncing up and down has Shipra feeling very sick now. But you liked it, right?
I liked it for like the first 30 minutes and then my stomach started churning. Like I was like, felt like I was going to throw up for like the second 30 minutes of it. So I wasn't able to enjoy it after that point. I was just like, I got to get off this boat. Seeing the whales was amazing. I don't even think I've ever seen whales. I don't know. Maybe there was some point I saw them, but I haven't seen them recently. And it was cool to see them more up close as well. But I really want to see them underwater too, because seeing them on the surface, you don't get as much of a view of how big they actually are. But yeah, overall it was a good experience. So we just sat down after ordering food at Tillamook Creamery. This is located in Tillamook County, Oregon, right off of Route 101. So Tillamook is a dairy brand, so they're actually based out of this area, and they have a bunch of farms here. They make a lot of different products, so yogurt, ice creams. I think they're most famous for their cheese, and then they also make cream cheese as well. And you can come here and order different types of dairy products. So they have like grilled cheese, mac and cheese, ice cream, and stuff like that. And a fun fact about Tillamook cheese, their most notable product is their Tillamook cheddar cheese. And so in March 2010, Tillamook's medium cheddar cheese actually won the gold medal in the 2010 World Cheese Championship. And so this is actually held in Wisconsin by the Wisconsin Cheesemakers Association. And their cheese scored a 99.6 out of 100.
It's time for the taste test.
Good. I feel like I can make really good grilled cheese. I use this cheese when I make grilled cheese, and I can make it really good. I feel like it's a little bit salty, like in general, which I don't like, but overall it's pretty good.
So I got the spicy mac and cheese. Wow, that's actually pretty delicious.
The grilled cheese.
I think the grilled cheese is okay.
A bit salty, right?
I'd probably rate yours a bit higher than that. It's like okay.
Mine?
So I'd probably give the grilled cheese maybe like a 7 out of 10. And then the mac and cheese I'd probably give an 8 out of 10. So we just finished up lunch here at Tillamook. After this we are headed over to Cannon Beach up north. The food itself was alright. It was like average.
Just cheese.
Yeah, it was a lot of cheese. It was almost cheese overload. And I think it was such a cheese overload for Shipra that she wants to go vegan now. It's okay. I think like generally I wouldn't stop it here. I'd just continue down the road.
I wouldn't recommend this. Stop unless you're like a big dairy fanatic.
And want to wait like 45 minutes for food.
Yeah, and I mean, they have a lot of ice cream flavors. If you're into ice cream, that might be a fun stop. But for the food, wouldn't recommend.
Yeah.
So we just made it over to Cannon Beach, and we're at a very famous spot called Haystack Rock. This is a sea stack that's 235 feet tall, and it is actually the third tallest structure in the world of this type. So let's go check it out.
So we finished up at Cannon Beach and drove about an hour and a half over to Portland. So our first stop in Portland is actually Washington Park. So this is one of the main parks and largest like natural attractions near the city.
And so a fun fact about this rose garden, this is actually the largest and oldest rose garden in the United States. And it's really beautiful to see. There's so many different colors of roses, ranging from yellows and whites to purples and pinks. And they've really decorated the garden really nicely. There's a lot of different arches that are decorated with flowers. And I also noticed that there's a lot of different lush greenery here and also different types of flowers. I don't know what kind of flowers they are, but I did see lavender on the way down. So I think they've added some really interesting touches around here as well.
And here, right above the rose garden, we have a really great view of downtown. We can see some of the buildings in the distance. For about an hour and a half, we've reached Portland. And we are here for dinner. We are checking out a place called the Fermenter, which is more of a vegan and vegetarian restaurant.
We ordered some kombucha.
One of their specialties here, so hopefully it tastes pretty good.
Yeah, I'm very looking forward to having some vegetables in my meal now.
And at the same time, there's a party happening down the street. How's that kombucha tasting?
Very good. I like it. I don't know what flavor it is, but it's good. Some botanical flavor.
And the food's actually looking really good too.
Yeah. Getting my health food fix now.
Yeah, finally.
Finally.
After a lot of cheese. Good morning, everyone. Today is our last day here in Oregon. Last night was quite a bit of an adventure as well. So right outside of our hotel, there was actually a drift racing, street racing type event going on in the middle of the night, 1 a.m. completely illegal event. Apparently happens all the time in Portland, and they were shooting off fireworks and all sorts of things. It was a bit crazy, but I guess we could kind of see some cars drifting from the window, which was interesting, even though we couldn't sleep. Today's the last day, and we are here at our first stop, which is Multnomah Falls.
Yeah, so this is one of the largest and most picturesque waterfalls in Oregon, in addition to many. And I think we're going to go see maybe one or two more once we finish up here. We're going to go to the Mount Hood area and do some trails there as well. So the parking situation was a little bit difficult here because it's a very popular place for people to visit. So we actually came off of Route 30 and we were able to find some parking right off of the falls. However, we did have to make a few loops before they were able to let us into the parking lot, and we had to wait for a bit. But we can already see the waterfall right off of the parking lot, which is really nice.
This waterfall is amazing. It's cascading down so many feet, all the way down to this other river right here that falls to another secondary waterfall on the way down. I'm really liking this place. And the temperature has dropped probably around 10 degrees here, so it's really pleasant from the heat of Portland, which is around 90 degrees today. I think this is really unique. The bridge is really interesting as well, although it is extremely crowded. So after visiting Multnomah Falls, we are now in the Mount Hood area. So Mount Hood is actually the largest peak in Oregon. It stands at over 11,000 feet, and we are at Trillium Lake. Trillium Lake, as you can see, has an incredible view of the mountain over there, and there's also all sorts of canoeing going on down here. The thing I've generally liked about Oregon so far is that I feel like it's a very chill vibe. Like, we haven't had too much trouble parking anywhere at any of the parks, nor have we had much of an issue with crowds. I feel like everywhere we've been so far, and maybe it's just the time of year, but everywhere we've been so far has been relatively empty, and it's been very accessible in that way. So I've liked that a lot, and I think I wish a little bit more of this was in California as well, because there seems to be a lot of hysteria in California about certain trails and going to certain places at certain times of years. So we've now reached our next destination here in the Mount Hood area. So this place is called Tamanawas Falls. The main attraction of this fall is it's about a 100-foot drop. It actually gives you a ability to walk behind the waterfall as well.
It's nice and peaceful here, not very crowded. I'm liking it so far. Yeah.
Ooh, so that trail ended up being a little bit more tricky than we had anticipated, and a little bit longer.
I think it's at least 2 miles each way.
And online they were basically saying, oh, it's an easy trail, it's a quick one right off the highway. Don't trust random review sites because they probably haven't been on the trail themselves.
Yeah, and we were a little unprepared too because we didn't bring a ton of water or snacks, and now we're out of water. So.
It's okay. I think we can make it back just fine. But this hike was definitely worth it. This view is astounding. I don't think I've seen such a nice canyon with a waterfall before.
Reminds me of Yosemite a little bit.
Yeah, we've made it to the base of the waterfall. Oh wow. It's really coming down.
You feel the water and it feels so nice because it's so hot out. So we just finished up this hike and it was a lot of fun. It was pretty intense, but we both agreed that it was very well worth it. Would definitely recommend anybody coming here to come see this hike and to go to this waterfall. When we were down at the waterfall, you could feel the water and it was really refreshing.
I think the hike was pretty technical. There was some difficult portions to it, with the rocks and things, but if you have some poles or a tandem partner like me, it was totally fine, totally doable.
Yeah.
I think the most unique part of it was while hiking up, you could actually see the rim at the top of the waterfall. So you can see the water approaching the drop and then falling down below.
Yeah. And also on the way up, we saw a lot of mini waterfalls that were coming from that main source waterfall. So that was a nice view to have.
Overall, such an amazing trip to Oregon.
Yeah,
right?
It was awesome. I would highly recommend, especially if you live in California or somewhere on the West Coast. It's a very quick flight over, and we were able to get in a lot of fun hikes, see a lot of cool natural areas. So yeah, definitely recommend.
Yeah, and I think this was a perfect birthday surprise from Shipra to me. So thank you so much. I am excited for the next surprise. And I'm sure you're excited for your next surprise because our plan is to now surprise each other once a year with a trip.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. See where Shivam takes me next. Anyway, so now we have concluded our trip. And we're going to make our way back to the airport, grab some food on the way, and catch our flight out of Portland Airport back to the Bay Area.
We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.